Hello everyone, in this session we are going to understand a really helpful tool in Onfinity called the inventory count form. It makes handling inventory much easier, especially when you have a lot of items to manage. Let us begin with the agenda for today's session. We will cover what the inventory count form is, how it works with inventory carts and barcodes, and how it can support real business scenarios. We will also walk through a simple example to see how everything fits together in practice. Now, let us move on to the objectives of this session. The objective of this session is to enable you to understand the inventory count form and its associated terms in the context of business processes. It also enables you to test the inventory count form in the context of business requirements. Let us review the prerequisites for this session. Before using the form in the Onfinity system, make sure you have access to the Onfinity platform with a valid user ID and password. Tenant and organization configuration must also be completed and available, and this means there should be a proper basic setup configured in the Onfinity system, so you can run this process without any issues. Now let us move on to the inventory count form. This will give us a clear understanding of what the inventory count form is and how it supports inventory management. The inventory count form is a powerful tool that enhances inventory management. It supports multiple methods of data entry, facilitates bulk operations, and integrates seamlessly with different inventory processes. Now, what does this mean in practice? The inventory count form allows you to create product carts using a barcode scanner, or by importing data from a TXT file or CSV file. In simple terms, you can quickly bring products with barcodes into the system either through scanning or by uploading a file. Another important point is flexibility. The flexibility of transaction types and the generic Others cart ensures comprehensive support for both dependent and independent transactions, making it an indispensable component in efficient inventory management. You will also find this form is used to insert multiple products simultaneously in Line tab of particular screen. For example, Material Transfer, Inventory Use, GRN, Inventory Count, Delivery Order, and Other screen. And finally, in Onfinity, Inventory Cart screen is used to record data of inventory count form. It means all data captured through the inventory count form is recorded and managed within the inventory cart screen. Let us now move to identify the process flow configuration task. To use the inventory count form properly, a few things must be ready in the system. To record an inventory cart using inventory count form, here are some more prerequisites which must be available in the system: a defined warehouse and locator, and a product with a barcode or UPC, a unit of measure commonly referred to as UOM, and an import sheet if you plan to upload products from a file. Now let us look at the inventory cart use case. This use case will help you better understand how to execute a real-life scenario using the inventory count form and see how the process works step by step in practice. In this scenario, Green Energy Private Limited places a sales order, SO, with Sonic Ventures for 100 smartphones, for example, Redmi Note 10. Sonic Ventures creates the sales order and shared with Green Energy Private Limited, detailing the quantity of 100 smartphones priced at 22,490 rupees, delivery instructions, and terms of sale. After preparing the order, Sonic Ventures creates a cart with transaction type shipment, giving the reference of sales order. Upon shipment, Sonic Ventures generates a delivery order, DO, using the generate lines from cart, from which references of the sales order and details about the shipment, including the quantity of goods, and shipping details will get updated. This brings us to the end of the conceptual overview of the inventory count form and the inventory cart. We have understood their purpose, how they work, and the prerequisites required to use them effectively. Now that the basics are clear, let us move into the Onfinity system and walk through the process step by step to see how it works in practice. First, open the Onfinity URL. On the login page, enter your user ID and password. In this example, I am logging in as the admin user. Once your credentials are entered, click on the Login button to access the system. On the homepage of Onfinity, you will find default mosaics that display real-time data related to transactions. As you can see, some mosaics currently do not display any data, and this is simply because there are not enough transactions recorded in the system at this moment. Once proper transaction data is available, these mosaics will automatically begin displaying information. So, for now, you can ignore the empty mosaics and focus on the ones that contain relevant data. As part of our use case, the first step is to create a sales order, and once the sales order is created, we will then generate a cart based on it. To begin, let us open the sales order screen. You can either search for sales order using the menu search utility, or you can navigate through the sales and marketing module. Within this module, under order management, you will find the sales order screen. Click on the sales order, and this will take you to the sales order landing page. On sales order landing page, you will also find a set of sales order specific default mosaics. These mosaics can be used either to filter records or to display key data related to the sales orders that have been created. For this session, we will not go into the details of sales orders, and it is mosaics, as this will be covered separately in a dedicated sales order training session. Here, our focus will be on simply creating a sales order as part of the inventory count form use case. To begin, click on the New Record mosaic to create a sales order. Once selected, the sales order screen will open in single record view. On the left side of the screen, you can see the header panel. This panel gives a quick review of key information based on the details of the sales order. Here, you will find the organization, the order number for unique identification, the date ordered, and the promised date. You will also see the currency, which comes directly from the price list, along with the grand total showing the overall order value. Next, you can see the order status, which reflects the actions taken against the order so far, and the document status, which shows the current stage of the document. At the bottom of this panel, there are two important buttons: the Document Action button, used to complete and process the document, and the Not Posted button, which is used to post the ledger entries. To begin, you first need to select the organization under which this transaction is being created, and then select the target document type. There are multiple target document types available for a sales order. We will not go into each one in this session, as they will be covered separately in the dedicated sales order training. For now, let us proceed with the standard order type to define our transaction. If you have an order reference, you can enter it in the order reference field as well. The date ordered field indicates the date on which this sales order has been created. The date promised field shows the date by which this sales order is expected to be delivered. For our example, let us update the date promised to the 20th of June 2025. Next, we need to select the customer. As per our use case, the customer is Green Energy Private Limited. Once selected, you will notice that the customer-related details are automatically updated, and this includes the location, user contact, bill to location, invoice to business partner, as well as the price list, payment terms, and payment method, all of which come directly from the customer master setup. If required, you can also zoom into the customer record from the customer field to verify all these details. Just click on the customer master name hyperlink of the customer to view record in single record view. For more detail of customer, here you will see price list, payment term, payment method are linked. Additionally, we have a few more tabs where important customer details need to be set up. Click on the Location Details tab button to navigate to the Location tab. Here you need to provide the location information and mark both the billing address and shipping address as true for the location. This ensures that the system knows where the goods will be delivered and where the invoices will be sent. Now move back to the Header tab. Click on the Contact Person tab button to navigate to the Contact Person section, where the customer's contact user will be linked, which is important for communication and record-keeping purposes. Finally, return to the header of the customer master by clicking on the Home button, and these are the minimal and important customer details that you need to verify and set up before proceeding further. More details on customer setup are already covered in the Customer Master Setup training. Now you can move back to the sales order screen by clicking on Sales Order. Here, if required, you can update a few details such as the price list or the payment term. Let us update the payment term and assume it to be 20 days. For the payment method, we will use cash. Next, you just need to select the warehouse from which the order will be delivered. For this example, we will proceed with the Sonic Ventures warehouse. Finally, review the currency rate type, which will be used for conversion purposes if multiple currencies are maintained in your system. Now save the header. Next, the Lines tab button is used to navigate to the Lines tab, where you can enter the items that need to be added for this particular sales order. Now, navigate to the Order Details tab, and this tab provides additional options for setting up details related to the sales order. However, for now, we will not go into depth on this section. Here, you will also find the shipping rule, which allows you to define how the order will be shipped, and along with this, you can select the shipping method and invoicing rule, which will later be used for processing deliveries and related instructions. Under the Reference section, you have the option to link a contract, and if this sales order is being created based on an existing contract, you can select it here. Additionally, discounts can be applied at the line level using the Apply Discount button. Now let us move back to the header section of this sales order. On the sales order header, you will also notice the Show Order Tax tab button, and this tab will be updated with the applicable taxes once we add order lines with tax information. Next, the Payment Schedule tab will be updated only when the order is created with an advance payment term. Finally, we have the Actions button, which provides several useful options. From here, you can add lines by using the Create Lines from Cart option. If there is any generic or other type of cart, it can be utilized here as well, and we will explore this later. But for now, let us stick to our current use case. You also have the option to copy from another sales order, and this is helpful if you want to reuse details from an existing order. Simply click on the Copy from Another Sales Order, confirm the action, and then enter the sales order number you want to copy from. Once done, the system will allow you to bring those lines into your new order. For now, let us close this option and move ahead to add a line manually. To do this, we will navigate to the Lines tab by clicking on the Lines tab button. Once we are on the Lines tab, click on the New Record option, and this will open the screen in a single record view, allowing us to enter product details. Here, as part of our use case, we will select the product Redmi Note 10. Since our product has defined attributes, we will select the attribute using the Attribute Set Instance form. You can either create a new instance or choose an existing one, especially if the same product attribute set instance has been received previously, and for this example, we will proceed with an existing instance. Click OK, and the attribute set instance will be added to the line. If needed, you can also change the unit of measure, UOM, provided multiple UOMs are defined for the product. For now, we will stick to the base UOM of this particular product. Now, let us enter the quantity. For our use case, we will enter 100 units. At this stage, we will enter the price manually. Currently, the product price is not defined in the used price list. If prices were defined in the price list, they would automatically update here. This price field represents the standard price that we are offering. There is also the list price, which typically reflects the MRP, and we can enter it as needed. After saving, you will notice that several details get updated under the quantity and amount section. If any discount is applied, the discount percentage will be reflected here. The tax amount will also be calculated based on the selected tax. The line total is calculated as the quantity multiplied by the price, plus the tax amount, and the line amount without tax is also displayed. The ordered quantity is recorded in the base unit. In our example, the UOM is set to the base unit, so both quantities are the same. Once you process the delivery order, the quantity delivered will be updated, and after processing the invoice quantity will also be updated accordingly. Let us move back to the Header tab. Now you can also review the Order Tax. Click on the Order Tax tab button. Here you will see the complete tax breakup for this sales order. Once reviewed, you can close the Order Tax tab and complete the sales order, and click on the Complete Document Action button. A confirmation prompt will appear, and click OK to confirm and complete the record. Once your sales order is completed, copy the sales order number for reference. Now, we need to open the inventory count form to create a cart for this specific sales order. You can open the form by directly searching for Inventory Count Form in the menu search utility. Alternatively, you can navigate to the Material Management module, where under Storage Operations, you will find the Inventory Count Form. Click on the Inventory Count Form to open it. On the Inventory Count Form, the first field to select is the transaction type. In the transaction type options, we have Inventory Move, which is used for material transfers. If you are creating a dependent cart for a material transfer, that is, a material transfer against a requisition, select Inventory Move. Then here in Reference Number field, you will need to enter the document number of the requisition. It is important to use the correct and accurate requisition number. Otherwise, the cart will not be available for the material transfer transaction. The next transaction type is internal use. Similar to the inventory move, you need to enter the requisition number for the internal use, and this is because it is also a dependent transaction type of cart, which will be used to create an inventory use transaction against the requisition. We can also create independent transactions using carts, which means they can be created without referencing any requisition. For creating independent transactions of material transfer or inventory use with cart, you need to select the transaction type as Others. Only when the transaction type is set to Others will the cart be available for use in independent transactions. In this scenario, the reference number is primarily for identification purposes and can be left blank. Based on this setup, you will be able to select this particular cart in material transfer or inventory use, even without any requisition reference. However, if we are creating a specific cart using the transaction type as inventory move or internal use, we must provide the reference of the respective requisition for both material transfer and inventory use. Next, we have the transaction type MR, which is used for the goods receipt note, GRN. For this transaction type, you are required to provide the reference of the corresponding purchase order number. This means that a purchase order must be created in order to use the transaction type MR. The next transaction type is physical inventory, which is used for inventory count transactions. For this type, you need to provide the locator code, and this allows the system to update quantities and insert product lines using the specific locator. Finally, we have the transaction type shipment. For this type, you only need to enter the sales order number to use it on the delivery order screen. Now, let us enter the sales order number we created, which is 50,004. Let me quickly verify this number from the sales order screen. Yes, 50,004 is our sales order number. The last field on the inventory count form is scan name. You can rename the scan name if required. However, it is automatically generated as a combination of the transaction type and the reference number provided. If no changes are needed, simply click the Next button to proceed. This will open a new page where you can add the products. The first field on this page is the scan number. Here, you can scan the product directly. If a barcode scanner is connected to the system, scanning the product will automatically update the scan number. Alternatively, you can manually enter the product's barcode. Let us enter the barcode of an already configured product 10000110012 and press Enter. you will see that the product is now inserted. Before we proceed further, let us first navigate to the Product Master screen to verify the barcode configuration and understand how barcodes are linked to products. To do this, open the menu Search utility, search for Product Master, and open the screen. The Product Master provides different options where we can define a barcode. Once the screen opens, we arrive at the Product Master landing page. Click on the View Record mosaic to see existing product records. Let us select Redmi Note 10 and click on its hyperlink to open the record in single record view for more details. Firstly, we can define the barcode on the header tab of the Product Master. The barcode is used to scan and insert the product with the primary unit of measure, UOM, defined on the header tab. If a product has multiple UOM conversions, you can also define barcodes for each conversion. To do this, navigate to the UOM Conversion tab, click on the organization hyperlink to open the record in single record view, and you will find a barcode field where you can add a barcode specific to that UOM conversion. It is important to remember that every barcode must be unique and should not duplicate any existing barcode. Although the system will restrict you from adding the same barcode, always ensure that a unique number or barcode is created for each product or UOM conversion. Now let us move back to the header tab. For the third option to define a barcode, navigate to the Stock Detail tab. Within Stock Detail tab, you will find an Additional Barcode button. Click on this button to move on Additional Barcode tab, and to view available existing record in single record view, click on the product name hyperlink. Here, you can define attributes, and along with these attributes, you can also specify the unit of measure, UOM, for that particular attribute. Based on this combination, you can then assign a UPC or barcode for the specific attribute set instance of the product. In summary, these are the three available options within the Product Master, where barcodes can be defined according to business requirements. Now, let us return to the inventory count form. Here we also have the option to import from file. This means that instead of entering products manually, we can prepare a simple text file using Notepad or a CSV file, where we list the product barcodes along with their respective quantities. Let us go ahead and use this functionality. Click on the Import from File button, then browse and select the already prepared file from your system. In my case, I have a text file with the required barcodes ready. Simply select the file and click Open. Once uploaded, all the related products along with their details, exactly as saved in the file, will be automatically inserted into the form. Before we proceed further, let us quickly review the text file format required for import. Here is the file, let us open it. You simply need to provide two headings, barcode and quantity. Under these headings, enter the barcode, followed by a comma, and then the corresponding quantity for that product. Using this format, you can also create a CSV file, which can be directly used to import products into the system. Now, let us return to the system and delete records that we do not require, so we can continue with only the relevant data. At this stage, the only relevant product is Redmi Note 10 with attribute. Let us update the quantity to 100, as per our sales order and use case. Here, the quantity can be edited directly, and if required, any unnecessary product lines can be removed using the delete action. Additionally, the records can be reset at any time by clicking on the reset button available here. Once the data is finalized, click on the Save button to store the cart record. Upon saving, the system will display an information message stating, "All records saved." This confirms that our cart has been successfully created and is now available in the system. To review the cart we just created, navigate to the Storage Operations module under the Material Management. Here, you will find the Inventory Cart screen, where all records created through the Inventory Count form are stored as inventory carts. Click on Inventory Cart to open Inventory Cart screen, and then click on the Scan Name hyperlink to view the Inventory Cart record in single record view. This screen is essentially used to store all cart records, And under Inventory Cart Lines, you can verify all products included in the cart. Now, with the cart created and saved, let us proceed to the Delivery Order screen to process the sales order fulfillment. Let us open the Delivery Order screen. You can access it under the Order Fulfillment section within the Material Management module. Similar to the Sales Order screen, the Delivery Order screen also provides multiple mosaics, which can be used to filter records and display key data. For now, we will not go into detail about the mosaics. To create a new record, click on the New Record mosaic. Here, select the organization, choose the document type, and then enter and select your sales order in the Sales Order field. Once selected, all related details from the sales order will automatically populate and simply save the header of the record. Next, click on the Create Lines from Cart button. This will open the Create Lines from Cart form, where carts created under the shipment type will be available. This functionality is particularly useful when a sales order contains multiple item lines. Instead of adding them manually, you can simply select the cart from the available options. All the line details from the created cart will be displayed here. Select the required line. Click on Create Lines, and the line will be successfully recorded and saved in the delivery order. You can verify the created record by navigating to the Lines tab. Click on the product hyperlink to open the record in Single Record View. Here, you will notice that all details from the selected cart have been accurately populated into the line, and this completes our first use case. Now, let us return to the Inventory Count form to explore additional transaction types available. We will begin with the Others transaction type. This transaction type is specifically designed for creating independent transactions that are not associated with any other transaction. In other words, it is used to create a generic cart. Let us enter the reference as generic cart and proceed by clicking on the Next button. Now, let us proceed with importing the file. Click on Import from Files, select the prepared file, and open it. Once imported, save the record. At this point, our cart record is successfully created and saved. Next, let us return to the Sales Order screen. Move on to the Header tab. Click Add New Record. Enter the mandatory details, such as selecting the customer and warehouse, and then save the record. With all required fields completed and saved, we can now proceed to use the cart. This will open the Create Lines from Cart form, where our previously created generic cart will be available. Select the cart, and all the product line details from the created cart will be displayed here. To add the desired products, simply select the lines and then click on the Create Lines button. The selected items will be inserted into the sales order. In the same way, this generic cart can also be utilized across independent transactions, such as purchase orders, requisitions, sales quotations, inventory use, and material transfer, wherever the cart option is available. Now let us move to the Material Transfer screen to see how we can use Others type of cart on Material Transfer. You can quickly access it by searching Material Transfer in the menu Search utility. If you want to create a material transfer that would be independent, then you can also use this cart on Material Transfer. For a time being, we are not covering the details of screen or their specific purposes. It will be covered in their respective sessions. The focus here is specifically on how to use the carts available on the screen. To begin, click on New Record Mosaic, then select the document type and specify the From Warehouse. For example, let us select Sonic Ventures Mohali Warehouse as the source and Sonic Ventures Warehouse as the destination. Since there is no quantity available in the Mohali warehouse, the system will not allow us to add a line for the transfer. Therefore, we will interchange the warehouses. It is important to keep in mind that the system will only allow a material transfer if stock is available in the selected From Warehouse. Once the header details are entered, save the record. Now click on the Create Lines from Cart button. The Create Lines from Cart form will open, and you will see the cart that was previously created. Select the cart to proceed. Here, you can choose the product from the cart, and you will also need to specify both the From Locator and the To Locator. Finally, click on the Create Line button, and the line will be inserted successfully. This is how we can make use of the cart functionality while creating an independent material transfer. Now, apart from the independent cart, the system also supports a dependent type of inventory cart, known as inventory move. Let us walk through how to create this dependent cart for a material transfer. To begin, we first need to create a requisition. From the menu utility, navigate to the Procurement Management, then Requisition module, and open the requisition screen. On the landing page, click on the New Record mosaic to create a new requisition. Start by selecting the appropriate document type, and after selecting the document type, you can enter the document date for the creation of this requisition. In the Requester field, specify the person who is raising this request. For example, let us select Azure, the inventory manager, as the requester. You can select them as the individual who is requesting the transfer of products into their particular warehouse. For this case, let us assume the requester warehouse is Sonic Ventures Mohali and the source warehouse is Sonic Ventures Warehouse. Now, select the price list and also specify the date required. Let us say the required date is the 20th of July 2025. Once these details are provided, save the header of the requisition. On the requisition screen, we also have the cart option available. Click on the Create Lines from Cart button. From here, select the existing generic cart, choose the required product, and then click Create Lines. The line will now be successfully inserted into the requisition. Now let us proceed further with our requisition. Click on the Complete Document Action button and confirm by clicking OK. This will complete the requisition record. Once completed, make sure to copy the requisition document number, as we will need it shortly. Now, scroll up within the bottom section displaying the open screens and navigate back to the Inventory Count form. Here, select the transaction type as Inventory Move. First, let us try a quick check. In the reference number field, enter a random number instead of the actual requisition number. Next, click on Import from Files, select the prepared file, and open it. Delete the extra products if not required, then save the record. With this done, move to the Material Transfer screen. Click on the Create Lines from Cart button. Notice here that the cart with the transaction type Inventory Move is not visible. This clearly shows that the cart will only be available when we provide a valid requisition document number in the reference field, and not when we enter an invalid or random number. Now, let us move back to the Inventory Count form so we can proceed with a valid document number of the requisition. Again, select the transaction type as Inventory Move. In the reference number field, enter the requisition number 800,001 and then click Next. Now click on Import from Files, select the prepared file, and open it. Since the file contains multiple products, we will only retain the required product and delete the others. Once done, save the record. Now navigate to the Material Transfer screen. Here, click on the Create Lines from Cart button. You will now notice that the cart of transaction type Inventory Move is visible here, since we have provided a valid requisition number. Additionally, the Create Lines from Cart form provides multiple filters to help refine the results. If multiple records are available in the Create Lines from Cart form, you can filter them by created user, reference number, or even by a date range. This ensures that locating and selecting the correct cart becomes quick and efficient. So let us close this for now. You can also try the remaining transaction types on your own. Just like Inventory Move, all dependent transaction types will work in the same way and require a valid reference document number in order to function correctly. That concludes the inventory cart functionality in our Onfinity system. If we move back to the presentation, you will see that we have successfully walked through the complete use case step by step directly within the system. I hope this session has helped you clearly understand how the cart works and how it can be applied across different transactions. Thank you for attending. The inventory count form and inventory cart are powerful tools designed to make your inventory management faster, easier, and more accurate. If you have any further questions or need additional support, please feel free to reach out to us.